Welcome to Vintage Gaming Memories. Shall we play a game?
Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This is probably one of my favorite videos to make because it covers the 3 G's. Good vintage gaming items, good people in it, and good food. Let's talk about where this all begins. This past weekend, September 7th and 8th, 2024, was VCF MW19. You're like, what is that? Well, that stands for Vintage Computer Festival Midwest, and for its 19th year. The Midwest one started back in 2005, but there were other VCF events around the globe. I'll put a link in the description for this one and more information on the others in case you want to check one out. Oh, and I forgot to mention this key point. It's free to enter the festival. Don't worry about having money to pay for tickets. You can walk right in. So it's definitely worth one's time if you appreciate vintage computing and systems. For the US, we have VCF East in New Jersey, VCF Pacific Northwest, which is in Washington, VCF West in California, VCF Southwest in Texas, VCF Southeast in Georgia, and this one, VCF Midwest, which was held in Schaumburg, Illinois. I grew up only miles away from Schaumburg, so it was nice to come home and visit friends and family while checking out the festival. So, what can you expect at a VCF event? Well, here's the verbiage from vcfmw.org regarding what VCF is. And it is exactly that. There are all vintage systems there. IBMs, Apples, Commodores, Ataris, my favorite, and others that I couldn't even tell you from the first glance when I saw them. So let's jump right in and take a look at what I saw on Saturday as I entered the Renaissance Convention Center. So once you walk in through the doors, you're pretty much right at the main entrance of the Expo Center. And let me just apologize now for the video where I had to slow it down at times because I was moving quite fast. I initially made the recording for my own recollection, but I figured afterwards I could upload and share it with all of you if I can make it a little more slower. So I apologize in advance if you get dizzy. This table here is where you get your souvenir plastic badge or sticker badge. Just write your name on it and be creative as you like. I opted for the plastic one. And check this board out. This was pretty interesting. It's a wanted board. So you write on it things you want and put your contact information there for anyone to get a hold of you. Once you enter the expo hall, you get the opportunity to purchase a souvenir t-shirt for $25. Your choice of brown or black. I went with the black, easy to match with clothing. And check it out, I thought it was pretty cool looking design, very vintage, retro look to it. Be sure to comment down below and let me know if you were also there and what you experienced. I'd love to hear about it. As I walk through here, I'll start from the left side and then I'll kind of do a row by row and call out interesting things. Like this table here has some ribbon cables and keyboards for sale. This one here has some Okidata microline printers. Haven't heard of Okidata in ages. And I believe those are dot matrix. Check out this. Okay, so these Altoids, it says on the box, empty project box, free with donation. And then you can also pick up some power cords for $2. On this table, you have your choice of PCI cards for networking, printers, a SCSI card, a sound one.
I'm excited about my music. See if I like it.
And then there's some Macintosh SC computers here. One says no power. Got a bunch of manuals and software below. Then we have something that interests me, Atari cartridges. We got them here for $3, $7, and $9. Just by looking at the titles, nothing really caught my eye for me in that bin, but pretty cool if someone's interested in that.
How you doing?
And then this table here had some other cool systems on the inside. You can see that there's an Odyssey 2.
Thanks.
There's like a Sears Telegame Pinball Breakaway, I believe. Some more computer restoration service and sales from Bonus Life Computers. Well, here's an Apple II GS from the mid-80s. And a bunch of Commodore drives. More Macintosh. Oh, here are some IBMs. And as you can see, it wasn't too bad to walk around, but I didn't want to be that guy taking up space just to video. And then here we come to my first purchase. I picked up another Atari banner, but this one is an authentic one from 1982 with the rope. So this is what I picked up at VCF Midwest. This is an original dealer promo banner for Atari from 1982, made out of a very nice soft nylon material, great condition. Has the rope that goes on the top cardboard cylinder going through it to hang it. And then what I bought last year was that one. And that is a more of a vinyl material, very durable, thick. And that one is obviously not original, but it's very similar. Size-wise, a little bit different, smaller. That one is about 59 inches by 29. And then the original is more like 61 inches by 31. So it's a little bit larger by a couple inches here and there. Great guy who sold it to me for $60. Can't beat that. And you can see he had these two Ataris. One was an ST and the other was an 800 XL, which were gutted. But they had a PC inside that would work with the keyboard, mouse, and joystick. Basically a shell of the Atari that you could play Atari games as you would on a modern PC through an emulator. You can see here that he was also selling an Indus drive and the XF551 drive. Then as I was about to go into the next aisle, I came across a couple YouTubers, Taylor and Amy from the Taylor and Amy Show. If you get a chance, check out their channel. Very creative, informative, and fun videos that they put out. So long story short, last year at VCF, they made a video titled The 6502 Song that my son got hooked on, and I needed to complain to them about that because he wanted me to help him make a parody of a song, but strictly with only Atari words. They were really sweet with giving him a private video message of encouragement that he just loved. So thanks again, Taylor and Amy, for that. Appreciate it. Here we see some power strips and surge protectors. And then we have some Atari flashbacks. batteries for sale, floppies, tapes. Here is the Atari BBS Gurus table. I ended up chatting a little bit with Rob from Southern Amos, great guy. I used to run a BBS in Chicago in the mid-80s, and I was thinking of putting it back up again using FujiNet, so I had a good conversation with him. Check out their website. If you don't know what a BBS or bulletin board system is, their website will give you all the details. But in short, it's when we used to do a PC to PC connection via a modem and telco line, and you log on to a BBS with your account. Then we would be entertained with ASCII and ASCII symbols, along with message boards that we can communicate with others. And then who can forget downloading games? That's where the term leech was heavily used. But this was all in the early 80s and with an 8-bit computer and beginning with 300 baud as your speed of transmission. So we've come a long way. Fun times. Just a lot of vintage computers everywhere you turn. Mac stuff here. Finally, some Ataris. The 400, 800, and some XLs. Information about the original specs. Apple computer, cables, joysticks.
Or something? Those are these small ones? They're Raspberry Pis. Running with how much are those guys? No, they're not.
Mac effects. More Apple IIcs. Well, check this out. If you drove here, you could pick up this 1984 Zenith 31-inch television for just $200. Here is YouTuber Ben Heck's table offering free autographs. And here's another YouTuber, Adrian from Adrian's Digital Basement. Looks like he's working on something. And then this corner table section is where David, aka the 8-bit guy, was selling some of his merch and giving autographs. Here's an interesting display. It's the APF Imagination Machine. It's a game console and home computer system in one that came out in 1979. I could do a whole video on this, but I would recommend checking out the article on fastcompany.com's website. It's titled Ed Smith and the Imagination Machine, the untold story of a black video game pioneer. I have a link to it in the description. It's a really good story, worth reading. Now here's a really cool table that I was drawn into because, for one, I was searching for this for quite some time, and there's one in front of me. This is Topo that was put out by Androbot in 1983. Nolan Bushnell, who co-founded Atari, had his venture capital group invest in Androbot to have them develop this so-called robot. This 3-foot robot talks and moves around by your control, and this really never took off due to price and demand. Online sources cite 120 units were sold of the 650 that were shipped, and at the end, the company had millions of dollars in debt, which prompted Nolan to sell off the company, but he kept the company name and copyrights. The owner of this Androbot was kind enough to demo it for me, and as you'll hear at the end of this clip, I gave him a serious and I think fair offer, but unfortunately he declined. I did try.
Yeah, for a lot of people it's hard to tell when it came out.
Like an hour and a half long video with some sort of random thing.
6,000?
Don't think so.
Yeah. If you want more information on this cool concept, check out the 64th Gamer YouTube channel. He has a great video on the Androbot. A lot of information to it. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in watching that. Here's a table of cameras. This one has some Braille keyboards and speech output devices. Back to some more Ataris. We have the XE and light gun here. What's that Commodore doing there? That red system in front of the Atari 800XL is a rare LS90. For those not familiar with the LS90, it's a TRS-80 clone from 1983 that was sold in France. Here are some Atari Jaguars for show. At this table you can see Frank Palazzolo and Evan Allen displaying the animatronics control computer that was used at Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. The nice tie-in to Atari because Nolan Bushnell also founded Chuck E. Cheese's. You can see how influential of a pioneer he was with not only Atari but robotics with Androbot and the animatronics with Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater.
Take his honky tonk and in that right harmony.
That's right, Big C, sir. Hit it, Pasquale.
When you are sad and lonely and have no place to go, come to see me, baby, and bring along some dough.
And we'll go honky tonkin', honky tonkin', honky tonkin', honey, baby.
Over here we have some ColecoVision consoles and the Odyssey system. Here is a Spectra Video 8-bit computer from 1983 with a super expander. That's something I don't see often. Now here's a favorite table of mine. This is the FujiNet Team. FujiNet is an awesome device that's a network adapter for the 8-bit systems. Specifically, I use it with my Atari, which I can load data like games to it, play it from right there, and even better, I'm able to use it to communicate with modern internet services. It's just really cutting edge. And there is the engineer extraordinaire in the white shirt, Tom Cherryholmes. Great guy. I finally had a chance to chat with him in person earlier. I really appreciate all that he and the entire team has done, especially with the Atari community. And it's branching further out. There's more information to read about it if you're interested. Check it out. You'd be pretty surprised and impressed with what they've done. Just like with the Androbot TOPO, this next image was a thing of beauty. It's the Atari Computer Demonstration Center store kiosk that you had seen back in the 80s when you visited stores like Sears. And to the left there is Clark. He's the owner of this kiosk. A really nice job on acquiring it and restoring it to its beauty. He's also a member of the Atari group called SCAT. That stands for Suburban Chicago Atarians. And that is their table section. And here's another favorite table of mine, the ANTIC Atari 8-Bit Podcast with Randy Kindig, Kay Savitz, and Brad Arnold. Those three are great with their podcast. You should definitely check it out for any and everything Atari. Randy was there representing that podcast and also his other one called Floppy Days, which covers all retro computers. Give that a listen too. And he also was there representing the IVCC, which is the Indie Vintage Computer Club that he manages. Busy man indeed. This table had some box Ataris for sale. I think I see an Atari 800 and 7800 in box. Here are some cartridge holders for various systems like Atari, Coleco, Sega, and Commodore. And these are some custom-built joystick controllers for various systems. You can see Coleco and Apple up front. Here are a bunch of tape recorders and tape drives for all types. Check this out. These are pretty rare. These are data entry terminals from Entrex. Pretty cool to see one in person.
Oh, look what I got. What? You spent my money. I have to assemble. That's about it.
And if you're wondering why there is a wading pool in here, well, here's some techie humor for you. And what you're seeing here in the cages and everywhere around it are items that will be auctioned later in the day. Over on this far side of the expo hall is AVS Home Arcade. There are some pinball machines and arcade games you can play. On this table, you get to test your building skills with a soldering iron as you build the Blinky. We have some Radio Shack specials here, some TRS 80s. And then the last talk session for day one at 9 p.m. was with Stephen Matarazzo and Ron McAdams, titled Attack of the Mac Clones. Kind of a full circle from the beginning of this video with Taylor and Amy. Day one ends with some music from the newly formed band of YouTubers called the Stop Bits. There's Veronica from Veronica Explains, Taylor and Amy from the Taylor and Amy Show, and Sean from Action Retro. Now, I won't be that guy who ruins their debut by putting this out before they even put it out, so I'm just going to give you a 3-second teaser, and if you want to hear more or maybe get more information, here's their website to check it out, and also look at their channels. I'm sure they'll put some more information about it. But this one is called Boot to Basic, and I'm sure this is going to be one of those that's going to stick in your head. They really did a great job with their original songs that they played. Just a really nice way to end the day. On day two, Sunday, the show was from 9 a.m. until 3. And as you can see on the schedule, there was some interesting talks that I wish I could have stayed to listen to. I did come back, but only for a few minutes to check things out one last time and just to say goodbye. Coming back the last day, I also scored this cool 5 1/4 floppy holder for free. It was from the Atari Guy table. That's the same guy who I bought the Atari banner from the previous day. And what it is, it's very modular. You can kind of remove each one if you don't want. So you don't have to have them all bunched up. You can take each one of these off and connect them however you like. But how it works is you just push it to the left and pull out. And then there you go. You can put your floppies in there. To the left, pull out, boom. Pretty nice. I mean, I have a lot of floppies. I need to organize them. I have a lot of holders, but this is a pretty cool looking layout to hold my floppies, and I like it. I can put it on my shelf too. And I didn't mention this, or I didn't show this the day before. I purchased this book, Atari in Wonderland. Got it from the original owner. Excellent condition. Had a good laugh with him because his password is there from back in the BBS days. But paid only $5 for this one, so that's an awesome pickup. I like checking out these books and thumbing through them every so often. Well, that was my fun weekend in Schaumburg, Illinois, as I explored VCF Midwest 19. I covered 2 of my 3 Gs that I mentioned in the beginning of this video. There was good vintage gaming items and good people to meet, but the last G was for good food. Sure, the hotel and surrounding areas had places to eat, but since I was born and raised here, I wanted to share with you a gem of a place that I always visit when I return. I've been going here since probably the early 80s. It's a family-owned business just located east of this show, actually right by O'Hare Airport. It's called Alan Joe's. Their Italian subs are the best. Trust me, you'll be hooked once you try one. Their corned beef sandwich is awesome too. It just melts in your mouth. Be sure to check them out next time you're around O'Hare. That's a great family that I love supporting all these years and will continue to do so. I hope you enjoyed this video of my visit to VCF Midwest 19. Comment down below, let me know what you think. And again, if you were there and what did you see that I missed or what did I miss completely on this video, I appreciate any feedback. And remember, keep that gaming passion from the past alive by living it today. Take care, everyone.